tell you all that your mics are on.
Okay.
We usually have a whole complicated button pushing system, but we're not doing that today for you guys. So just be aware that.
Don't say anything that we don't want on YouTube. Okay.
And how sensitive are they? I can hear myself already.
Just
So
walk away. You don't have to get real.
okay. Thank you.
Yes, he's sitting right there.
Yes, he is.
Sitting next to Tim.
Okay, should come up. Yes, here. Yes, he is here. Gary.
Thank you.
Oops. You want to talk to?
Hi, Donna. You gave me a come hither.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting ready to start. Did you want to talk to him first?
Don's
Don's going to talk to you from the White House.
What's up? Yeah. Yes. Yes. I'm here and I'm at the panel table now. I have to get here. I'm here and nearly came in back here.
Everyone else knows it.
No, but. Oh, you're kidding. No, I'm here.
Good to bring the students in.
They got the students. Good. That DJ. This was on stage.
Well, they will be.
Okay, wait.
Really?
I'll say anything.
Just looking for you.
These two.
Got this one under control.
It's a nice seat up there. You feel powerful.
Very official.
Very powerful. I'm supposed to introduce
No, you're introducing Don. We've changed it. We've changed it. We've changed it. You got to stay spot.
Introduce Don from the White House. He's supposed to come up first. Secretary Solis' father passed away.
No. The funeral is this morning. Yeah, he passed away last Wednesday. The funeral is this morning. The rosary was last night. I went, and Vice President Biden showed up.
Oh, we're for St. Patrick's Day. All right.
Okay, you want to start? Good morning. Thank you for joining us here today for the White House Job Council panel discussion on workforce needs in the healthcare sector. I'm Gary Portner. I'm Chancellor of the South Orange County Community College District, which includes both Saddleback College, where we are right here, and Irvine Valley College in Irvine. On behalf of the college, I'd like to extend our condolences to the Secretary of Labor, who was to be here today, but she had a family emergency. We greatly appreciate the fact that she has chosen Saddleback College, however, to be the location of this panel discussion. I also want to extend apologies for Saddleback College President Todd Burnett, who would normally be here and would want to be standing right where I am right now. But he's long had a commitment to be the lead of an accreditation team for a college in Northern California this week at Feather River College. I'd like to mention briefly why Saddleback was chosen to be the site of today's event. Through support from the Health Workforce Initiative, Saddleback will soon be initiating a program aimed at helping students make career choices and acquire skills needed for success in the allied health field. It will focus on the skills critical to success as well as career exploration. We're excited about the program, and it will be launched this summer. I'd now like to introduce Mr. Don Graves. He's Executive Director for the President's Council on Jobs. And I also want to thank Linda Zorn for her work in helping to coordinate today's panel discussion. So, Don, yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I'm on East Coast time, and I've been up for a long time, so I know you can do a little bit better than that. It's a little bit early for you, but it's really I'm tired, much more tired, I'm sure, than you all are. So because I've been up so early. So let's try that again. Good morning, everyone. There we go. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today. It is wonderful to be here in the great state of California. I want to also acknowledge a few people. First, I want to thank the Chancellor for hosting us, as well as President Burnett. We very much appreciate everything that you're doing here at Saddleback. In fact, we just had the opportunity to do a quick tour of the facilities. It was a tremendous opportunity to see what a great job this college does in training the health students of the future, the health providers of the future. I think that when I'm in California, I feel a lot more safe knowing that these are the people who will take care of me if anything should unfortunately happen to me. I also want to thank Alicia Villarreal, who's joining us on behalf of Secretary Solis. She's a great partner on public health care and the workforce. I want to thank also Linda Zorn and Tim Rainey for their leadership in improving Californians' lives throughout the state and certainly in this region. Today we're here to talk about Americans and how to get Americans the jobs that they need and where we need those jobs the most, how to fill those jobs the most. I want to be clear. Jobs have been the top priority for this administration from day one. One of the first bills, as I'm sure you all know, that the President signed was the Recovery Act, and he followed that up with the Affordable Care Act. We know that health care is a top priority of the administration because it's a top priority of the nation. In fact, the President believes that those steps, among a series of other steps that he's taken, aren't enough. That's not going to get us back to the place where we need to be. The President believes, as he said in the State of the Union, that this is a make-or-break moment for the country. It's a make-or-break moment for the middle class and for those trying to reach the middle class. And survival of the American promise that if you work hard, if you work hard, you can do well enough to raise a family, you can own a home, you can save a little bit of money for retirement. And if we don't do everything that we can, including in the healthcare industry, we won't be able to keep that promise alive. So that's why the President has proposed in the State of the Union and in the American Jobs Act a series of different proposals, including around manufacturing, around energy, around making sure that we are staying behind and sticking with the American values that have sustained this country for so long, and importantly, and what we're going to talk about today, skills, because we're at a critical point in our nation's recovery and also in positioning this country for long-term competitiveness. We need to make sure that not only are we competitive with the rest of the world, but we have to have the workforce that can outcompete, as we have over the last century, with the rest of the world. There's only so much that the government can do, however. We all know that that government is not the solution. It's not the only solution. The solution really rests with the great ideas and the job creation that comes from the private sector. That's why he created the President's Council on Jobs and Competitiveness, or the Jobs Council. The Council has worked to focus on job creation in the short term and also positioning the country, as I said, for long-term competitiveness. It's not looking for that single silver bullet. It's not looking for that one solution that will get the country back to where we all want to be, because it's not out there. Instead, what the Jobs Council is focused on is a series of initiatives that can expand job creation across a wide range of sectors. We're here as part of a listening session that we've conducted, a series of listening sessions that we've conducted all across the country, and really to focus, as I've said, on that one area in the economy that has probably the most potential for job growth, and that's the healthcare workforce. You all probably know the data, but around the country, nearly 10% of Americans are employed in the healthcare sector, and that's only going to rise over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Due to lack of proper training and education, there are still roughly 500,000 jobs in the healthcare sector that are left unfilled. 500,000. We have millions of people who are out of work right now who are seeking to get back into the workforce. But we have 500,000 jobs in the healthcare sector. We have 1 million or more jobs in other sectors. Why can't people take those jobs? Because they don't have the proper skills or training. And that's why the administration is trying to tackle that challenge head on. It's why we're here today to talk about things that are going on in California that may help to remedy the issue. It's why the President passed the Affordable Care Act. And it's why we're making continued investments in training programs going forward. I'm going to stop talking because you're not here to hear from a talking head. You're here to engage in a conversation. That's really what we're going to try and do today, is have a conversation and hopefully elicit from you all some great ideas, some suggestions that we can take back to the President, or perhaps take some best practices and models that we've seen, take them back to the President, and he can say, what they're doing here in California is wonderful. Let's take it to other parts of the country. So with that, again, I want to thank you all for being here today. I'd like to introduce some of our panelists. Next, joining me here on the podium is Linda Zorn. She's already been introduced, but she is the statewide director for Health Workforce Initiative at the California Community Colleges. I won't read through her whole bio because it could take us, it's in your brochures, it could take us all day talking about her accomplishments. She is a true and fierce advocate for workforce and the healthcare workforce in this state. I am truly privileged to have been able to join her on the panel today. So without further ado, Linda Zorn.
Thank you so much, Don. And on behalf of the Health Workforce Initiative, which is part of the Economic and Workforce Development Program at the California Community College Chancellor's Office, I do also want to welcome and thank you for being here. I have to add just a few acknowledgments, obviously, to Saddleback College for hosting this wonderful event. Dr. Kimberly Perry, who is the president of Butte College and my host college, for being here as well. And Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom for including Health Workforce Initiative in the pilot projects for California. And, of course, all of the White House staff and the President's Council on Jobs and Competitiveness for choosing Saddleback and HWI for this event. Going back to what Don said, the purpose of this California Healthcare Workforce Listening and Action session is to highlight HWI, Health Workforce Initiative, as a national model for how cities and states across the country can address their healthcare workforce training needs. First, though, I'd like to give you just a little background on HWI and how some of the things that we do might become those models that can extend across the country. The first one is the new graduate RN Transition to Practice program. Courtney on the panel is a product of that training, and she'll be talking later how that helped her achieve her dream job in labor and delivery. We also do a lot of work with incumbent worker training, and the most recent example is for health IT with critical access hospitals, not only across our state, but we actually dipped into other parts of the country as well. That was part of the broader ONC project with community college training. We have a very innovative program at community colleges called the Welcome Back program. This is an international healthcare workers assistant program where foreign-trained healthcare workers can re-enter the field and work in their true passion, which is healthcare in the United States. We were instrumental in all the expansion programs that allowed community colleges to expand their nursing and allied health programs to meet those shortage needs in our industry. We do a lot of work in professional development for both our college faculty and for service, and a big part of that is our RN nurse specialty training program. A big one in Southern California is the regional testing centers for certified nurse assistants. They need to be certified to get a job. We help them do that. We help them get jobs. And last but not least, our models for statewide and regional advisory boards, which actually helped to define these pilot projects that we are going to be talking about today. So the Jobs Council has partnered with HWI to develop national models for accelerated training and placement of healthcare workers into available jobs. We know there's jobs in healthcare, and we're here to help see that our students can get the skills they need to get these jobs. And we do these through strong industry partnerships in which we align curriculum to meet the needs of the skilled workers. So the California pilot projects have been designed to assist our California community college students to accelerate their preparation as they gain the skills they need to be able to fill these open jobs. We have 5 pilot projects in the state. The first one is called the Health and Science Pipeline Initiative. This was first developed at Grossmont College in San Diego, and it's the basics. It's to help our high school students develop the skills they need in math and science to be able to do better in community colleges. So we have programs called medical biology, medical chemistry, medical physiology and anatomy that help students understand the contextualized learning they will need to be more successful when they go on to their community college, hopefully allied health careers. Around the corner, we're going to be working on math and English as well. So with that groundwork, and we're now taking that concept statewide so that all along the state, our high schools will have that opportunity to get better prepared in those areas. The next are 4 campus programs, and in your packets that you received, you have 1 page of summaries of all these projects. Cabrillo and Skyline College is coordinated by the Bay Area Community College Consortium, and Sacramento City College and Saddleback College has representatives today in the panel, and you will learn more about them. They're all unique, but there's some similar attributes of all the programs, such as intensive bridge programs, contextualized learning, integrated curriculum, accelerated preparation, structured pathways, learning communities. So as the panel answers their questions, you'll hear a little bit more about some of the details of those specific pilots. But we're very proud of the fact that we've been included in these pilot projects, and they were working toward better preparation of our students. These programs are critical in light of recent reports. For example, the California Community College Student Success Task Force and the Little Hoover Commission, which indicated that a large percentage of all incoming community college students arrive unprepared for college-level English, math, and science. Our industry partners continue to ask for a workforce that is prepared with strong foundational skills in these areas. And in addition, our experience has shown that students entering allied health programs are unlikely to possess those sector-specific skills that contribute to student success. So as we focus on the contribution of California community colleges to jobs in the economy in the healthcare sector, HWI is very proud to support these innovative projects to accelerate preparation and completion of allied health programs to ready our students for high-skill, high-demand jobs in healthcare. So I'll turn it back to Don, who will work more with introducing our panel members. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Linda, for that. Next, I'd like to introduce, as I said, a great partner, great representative of the federal government, Elisa Villarreal. She was appointed in 2010 to represent Secretary Solis and the Department of Labor here in the western United States. She covers a pretty wide territory out here. Like me, she is a recovering attorney. Please don't hold that against us. She was a partner at Morgan Lewis prior to her appointment, and before that, she spent 14 years as a federal criminal prosecutor here in the Central District of California. So again, don't hold that against us. We're recovering and have moved on to different parts of our lives. So with that, Alicia.
Thanks so much, Don. I'm not a recovering attorney. I love being a lawyer. It's a phenomenal career, and especially being a federal prosecutor is one of the best jobs I think any lawyer could possibly have. Doing public service has been my passion, and I'm so happy to have been appointed by the White House to represent Secretary Solis in the Western U.S. Secretary Solis is a tremendous role model. I got to know her when she served on the Rio Hondo Community College Board of Trustees. That's where she started her career as an elected official. And throughout her entire career, she brings to everything she does, the values that she learned at home and as a trustee of the community college district. She deeply values education. She deeply values creating opportunities for underserved populations and protecting the rights of workers. Unfortunately, she couldn't be with us this morning because her father passed away last week. 88 years old, led an amazing life, raised a beautiful, highly successful family, and the funeral is this morning. I went to the Rosary yesterday, and Vice President Joe Biden was there to deliver his condolences and the condolences of the president. And, he had the family laughing. This was really a celebration of a life and a beautiful family that Mr. Solis and the Secretary's mother raised. So, unfortunately, she couldn't be with us today, but I'm here to let you know that she is a passionate advocate for ensuring that our students have the tools that they need, the education that they need to fill the jobs of today and tomorrow. And the way that she and President Obama are doing that is by insisting that we streamline our training programs, making sure that the community colleges are working closely with all of the partners who have a stake in our economy. That means employers are really working closely with community colleges, driving the curriculum. Workforce investment boards are partnering with our community colleges to make sure that you students are getting skills and training that employers are demanding so that you have a job as soon as you get out of high school. Out of college, and making sure that our high school students, as Linda was saying, are prepared to take your place as the next generation in community colleges and four-year universities, and that they are prepared in math and science. Because in this global economy, where we're looking toward high-tech jobs, high-skilled jobs, we have to make sure that our students are prepared. President Obama has often said that when the playing field is level, America will always win. And we're going to level that playing field by streamlining, by making sure that all of the federal departments are working together to make sure that you have what you need. If you're interested in starting a small business, that you have the Department of the Small Business Administration, the Department of Commerce. If you're interested in exporting, the Centers for International Trade Development, that all of these agencies are working together, breaking down silos to make sure that you have what you need, that communities have what they need in order to succeed. One example of that is in the county of Fresno. It was one of six cities chosen nationwide as part of the President's Strong Cities, Strong Communities initiative to make sure that all departments are working together to provide technical support for economic development in Fresno. One of those focuses is healthcare initiatives, and so I'm really excited to learn from you today about the work that's going on here at Saddleback Community College so that I can take that information with me next Monday when I meet with folks in Fresno to make sure that they are connected and learning from the best practices that are being developed here. And of course, we're going to take them back to the White House as well, because the President wants to make sure that pilot projects such as this are lifting up best practices so that we're not recreating the wheel in other parts of the country. We're learning from this, and we are going to replicate it. So thank you for having me here today. I'm looking forward to listening to all of your comments and taking your messages back.
Well, thank you, Alicia. We are now going to move to our esteemed panel and begin a conversation that hopefully we'll be able to draw some of your comments and questions in as well in relatively short order. You have everyone's full bio in the program, but I want to quickly introduce the rest of the folks here on the panel joining us. All the way to my right, your left, is Maria Jean Caternicchio, like Pinocchio, is how I was told to pronounce it. And I know that I was picked to moderate this because I have the most difficult name to pronounce. So it would figure that I'd be the person to try and pronounce everyone's names. Maria is the Director of Professional Practice and Workforce Development here at Saddleback Memorial Medical Center, and also for the Memorial Care Medical Centers in Orange County. Thank you for joining us. To her left is Tim Rainey. Tim is the Executive Director of the California Workforce Investment Board. He has a long-standing history in labor issues and workforce issues, and I guess is relatively new at the WIB. So welcome. Thanks for joining us today. On the other side of Linda, we have Donna Rain Shostak, who is the Dean of the Division of Health Sciences and Human Services at Saddleback College. Thank you for hosting us. Thank you for what you're doing and for helping to lead the Health Workforce Initiative. To her left is Jim Collins, another very difficult name to pronounce. He is the Dean of Science and Allied Health Divisions at Sacramento City College, all the way down from Northern California. We really appreciate you being here as well. And last but certainly not least is Courtney Sinclair, who is a nursing student here at Saddleback College. We got to spend a little bit of time with some of her fellow students just a few minutes ago. Courtney has a very interesting reason for being in her chosen profession, and it shows her passion, and she'll be able to tell us a little bit more about that soon. We thought that we would start by, I asked each of the panelists who've not had the chance to speak yet to just give you a quick point or two on why they think that healthcare and skills and training in healthcare is so important, and why the programs that we're going to be talking about today are really the path forward for the country. So maybe if we can start with Maria, and we'll just work our way down the panel.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay? All right, great. There is this gap between the preparation of students and the actual practice when they come into our, within the walls of our organization. Nursing, of course, is a huge profession, 3 million strong in this country. Yet there's not much out there, with the exception of these newly formed transition programs, to help support students bridge that preparation to practice gap. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and the Institute of Medicine did a huge study. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. And they came out with 8 recommendations. One of them did focus around this preparation to practice gap and the need to fill that. Registered nurses are in the hospital 24 hours, 7 days a week. Yet we do not provide them with a residency program. pastoral care services, clinical lab scientists, physical therapists, pharmacists, and the list does go on, requires a year of residency training, and our physician colleagues obviously much more. Yet nurses, upon graduation, and Courtney, you'll be able to attest to this, perhaps some of you in the audience, nurses upon graduation then enter into the workforce and are subject to the orientation that has fallen on the shoulders of the service leaders. And oftentimes those orientations may run from 6 to 12 weeks, and in some cases up to 18 weeks. There are models out there that demonstrate a year of residency. I bring it up because I think it's a critical issue, and nursing may set the lead, but there are many other professions that will follow. We need sustainable funding for residency programs for nurses. It is unconscionable to me that we ask nurses who come right out of school, newly licensed, and expect them to go from an advanced beginner upon graduation to proficient, if not expert, within 6 weeks to 18 weeks. And with handling the lives you saw in the simulation today, you know, they handle the lives of people that they interface with every day. So I think that's a critical issue. Again, I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up. The IOM, Robert Wood Johnson Foundation study is available. It provides great leadership for public policy makers, legislators, industry, and so on. So I'd like to just highlight that today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I wanted to quickly, though, do a shout-out. Is anybody from the Orange County Workforce Investment Board in the room? Plenty of folks. Right, you sit on the workforce
Yes,
board.
I do.
I wanted to make sure that everybody understands that local workforce investment boards work very closely with community colleges across the state. It's a great alliance and relationship. The California Workforce Investment Board, I was appointed just before the holidays by Governor Brown to head up the workforce board, is a private sector-led body that advises the governor on education, training, and employment policy. Works very closely with the chancellor's office. We have 49 of these local workforce boards in the state, so I want to make sure that you guys go out and find out more about that. I want to go back to what Don started to talk about in his opening remarks about the economy, if I could, and try to connect that and the healthcare workforce and the opportunities there. Nationally, I think, well, I know employment is trending in the right direction. We all know that. We hear the news. In California, though, 3 years after the end of the recession, officially, we still have 2 million people unemployed in the state. And about a third of those people have been out of the labor market for a year. And many have been out of the labor market for 2 years. And as you know, when you're out of the labor market that long, you're not working, your skills get rusty. Or worse, the job you used to have is gone, and you've got to start all over again. The skills you used to have or you do have now are obsolete. And as the recession shows, this last recession, and it's not unique in any way, unemployment is lasting longer and longer. Instead of divesting in or disinvesting in skills training, which I think too often happens in California, we should be investing in skills training. This should be a retraining economy, and this is what the governor's committed to. Our competitors in Japan and in Europe are not disinvesting in skills training. There's a huge real commitment in those countries to invest in skills, and that's where we're going to compete. High-skilled workforce. So why does this, how does this relate to the healthcare workforce? And as Don pointed out, we have huge opportunities in healthcare. You pointed to some statistics nationally. In California, we actually have, with a baby boom, there are some baby boomers in the room, but I know not all of you are. But as the baby boomers retire, and we hope that you do soon, no offense, but it opens up a lot of great opportunities in the economy for people to train in and take those jobs. With baby boomer retirements and with new job creation in healthcare, in the next 10 to 15 years, we're going to have 1 million job openings just in allied health alone. Mm-hmm. And allied health, by the way, everything but nurses and doctors, is the fastest growing and the largest component of the health workforce. And I saw some great training programs right here in this school, and they're at community colleges across the state, training just for this skill gap that we know is on the horizon very soon. This is a challenge. but it's a great opportunity. Just a note on the Affordable Care Act, we're still doing a lot of work in figuring out, excuse me, what the I've had a lot of coffee, waited a long time, and there's coffee in the break room. So I'll dart out after the thing is over. Yeah, take my cup away. The Affordable Care Act, we don't know what the service delivery system is going to look like exactly in the state of California, but I'll tell you this. The primary care workforce is going to grow fast, and with that, all of the support in allied health is going to grow. So in addition to the open jobs on the horizon, the crisis is going to be deeper with the Affordable Care Act, but again, it's an opportunity.
Thank you.
First, welcome to Saddleback. We are so delighted to have you here at the Division of Health Sciences and Human Services. I think you've seen, and I'll be very quick because we have lots to hear about, but I think what you've seen just now in this short time tells it all. We have wonderful programs here. We have innovative programs here, but we can't do it alone. We have the best students in the world. There's some of them out there now. Marvelous allied health programs, but without the support from organizations such as the Health Workforce Initiative, now from the President's Council so that we can sunshine some of the wonderful things we're doing, and from our community partners. We just heard from Memorial Care. We have to place our students in community partner experiences. They have to have real experiences. And so it's not something that we alone do. It's not something our students alone do. It's everything, and it's support from all of you in the community as well. So I think as you hear the panel, you will hear the need and the necessity of the wonderful partnerships, and that's probably the key today of everything I see.
Thank you for inviting me to the panel. I have three words that come to mind as you ask the question: access, partnership, and urgency. Strung out, really reached out to me. Access to students. Sacramento City College is a very diverse community. There is no majority at Sacramento City College. Also, we're a very poor community. 60% of our students are low or poor income. My concern is that we go through these innovations that we don't leave anybody behind. I don't want to steal any thunder from George Bush or anything, but it's a serious problem if we do things that limit access to the ability to reach their individual goal, our folks, students' individual goals. We're going to turn our back on our core values as a country, and we can't do that. Partnerships, we can't go alone. In our program, as you will hear a little bit later, we're looking at the high schools as partners. We're looking at universities as partners. We're looking at businesses in our community as partners. We're not going to be able to do this alone. And urgency, I just want to stress this. I have a sense of urgency about the challenges we face. If we don't seize the moment now, not only invest, but seize the opportunity that those investments bring, we're going to be in trouble. And there's no reason for that, because we have all the resources we need to do it if we pull them together.
Thanks, Jim. Courtney.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited to be here. I got into the nursing program and, made my life. I was so excited, and, the economy wasn't doing too good, and all I heard the entire 2 years I was in the program was, you guys aren't going to be able to get jobs. It's, people who were going to retire or were only working per diem are now going back to full-time because their spouses are out of work, and hospitals would rather have veteran nurses than new grads, and it just costs so much to train you guys. So, you're going to be nurses, but unfortunately you're not going to be able to be employed. And that was kind of what I found out was happening. I started applying to jobs March of a year ago. I graduated in May with 4.0 throughout the nursing program and could not find a job. No one wanted to hire me because I didn't have any skills. I was right out of school, and, so that was kind of where I found myself. But this program got me a job. I would not have a job today without the Health Workforce Initiative, so I'm just so very thankful and blessed.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to do now is have a little bit of a discussion amongst the panelists. We're going to save ample time for you all to provide us with your questions or your comments, and I'm happy to take whatever you'd like back to the president if you'd like to raise that at some point, and I'll be here afterwards if you want to criticize us. But first, building off of where Jim and Courtney just were, I want to turn to Tim and ask you, given the state of the economy here in California and the mismatch in the labor pool with the jobs that are available in the healthcare industry, what are you seeing, and what is the WIB doing, and I guess the governor as well on trying to resolve these issues?
That's a great question. We didn't have any time to think beforehand about these questions, by the way. These are all brand new. The governor actually put together a health workforce development council at the state level. That's a coalition of healthcare industry folks, labor unions, organized labor, community colleges, K-12, adult education, everybody who has a stake in a well-trained healthcare workforce. It was brought together initially to draw down some federal dollars to get a grant. The first round of money has run out, actually. The idea was that we would come up with some great recommendations to the governor's office and to state agencies across state government in Sacramento to help align kind of all the stuff we're doing in a way that makes a lot of sense. The second round of money didn't come out, unfortunately. It was the implementation. But everybody at the table is so committed to the work that we're continuing to work toward those recommendations. I think what will be the outcome is a real focus on healthcare and a real focus on where most of the jobs are in healthcare, getting money to programs like this one that are training people with the skills that are going to be in demand now, but also with the new healthcare reform law in place. I couldn't figure out an end to what I was going to say, so I'll just leave it at that. The governor is doing a lot of great work. And one more piece on that. Down at the ground level, it's really figuring out how colleges, workforce investment boards, high schools, and middle schools work really well with industry, listen to industry, and not just a single employer, but a group of employers at the regional level, and develop career pathways for folks who are unemployed, who are underemployed, and working their way through a career pathway into a real job at the end of the day. Because oftentimes I think we spend money on training programs that don't have the job actually at the end of the line. So what we're really trying to figure out is how to make sure that career pathway leads to a real job.
And well, building on that, Maria, as an employer, you come at this with a slightly different approach. We've seen that because of the skills mismatch, that it may have led to higher costs at the same time that we're getting lower quality care in a number of our institutions. What do you see as an employer as a means forward, and is this the type of program that the Healthcare Workforce Initiative and other programs like the Community Colleges program, are these the right types of ways to deal with the problems that you're facing? Or are there other things that we should be doing?
Yes and yes. The Health Workforce Initiative has been incredible. We have partnered with both Saddleback Community College as well as Golden West College in developing the transition programs that Courtney graduated from, actually. I was involved in that work up in Northern California that was funded pretty much through the Moore Foundation and through the California Institute of Nursing and Healthcare. We took that model, brought it down here to Orange County, and I think what we need to take away is it's nice to say, well, we partner with our community colleges. When I say partner, I mean roll up your sleeves, get ready to kick off your shoes, get down and dirty, and partner at the table. Because the community colleges have a perception of what's needed from the service sector, yet the service sector has an understanding of what our needs are. And with the Affordable Care Act, I mean, we're seeing things drastically change. We're moving to different patient care delivery models within our healthcare systems. We're going from, a primary care model to an acuity adaptable model. What does that mean? Well, that means a patient stays in one place the entire time during their hospital stay. And it's the staff that changes based on the patient's needs, as opposed to transferring patients from one place to another. Well, that's going to drive the skill set that we need of the nursing staff, the respiratory care practitioners, and so on. Another thought that comes to mind is around health information technology. As you know, we all need to be on the electronic medical record by some date. I believe it was, I see Kevin Ballinger out there, 2014, is that right? I've been out of commission a little bit. So, we all need to be on this electronic health medical record, but there are a lot of technological changes, barcoding, for example, that's driving the changes of the skill sets of the staff that we need. And it's changing the way the workflows go. So we saw that as an opportunity, again, to roll up our sleeves, get down and dirty with our community partner over at Orange Coast College, and look at that ARA funding that came through at the state level, to really design a curriculum, take the model curriculum and really make it live and breathe for Orange County. Because it's not just hospitals that are impacted by healthcare technology, it's physician groups. The list goes on. I can go on forever on this. You want me to continue?
Let me build off of, at least off the first part of your answer, and maybe posit this to Jim. Community colleges obviously are a tremendous place of opportunity for lifting skills, lifting training, getting us to the place where we have the workforce that we need for the future, for today and for the future. And the California Community Colleges pilot program is one of those efforts. How do you see that expanding going forward? Is that just one solution? Is this replicable all across the country?
Well, I think first of all, there's many solutions to the problem that we have to work in concert. So let me just say that front. And let me just try to answer the question by showing how Sacramento City College interpreted the challenge. We looked at the problem that we saw with our students were having, and it wasn't getting through our programs once they were in them. The challenge was getting them qualified for those programs, especially when looking at the diversity of our incoming classes. The classes in our allied health programs reflect the diversity of the applicant pool, but the applicant pool does not represent the diversity of our community. So we are looking at at student success in those prerequisite courses as part of the keys that we can contribute to the solution. So, in other words, the courses that qualify students to get into these programs, the success in those programs, those classes. And we're looking at many different aspects of that, but three in particular I think are important and are evidence-based initiatives. The first is that we provide a specific sequence of classes. The truth is we are the experts, and students want us to give them more guidance about the courses they take. And so we're stepping up and saying this is the most efficient and effective channel of getting into these allied health programs. Students get lost in the bureaucracy and the Byzantine nature of college life. And to the extent that we can make that less troublesome to them, or more understandable, the better. This is especially true for first-generation college students. The second thing is to make our academic programs more lifelike. So we want to present our students with authentic healthcare problems in which they can solve and then support those solutions. So we've listened to our partners, and we think that this contextualized and integrated learning environment will enable our students to acquire the professional skills, and this is an important part of the message here too, is the knowledge creation capacity, not the knowledge transfer capacity, but the knowledge creation capacity, and the emotional strengths they need to be in healthcare. These are challenging jobs. These are professions, and they need a great deal of emotional strength to get through the day. So these are the features that our employer partners wanted, and we hope to deliver. And finally, we believe that it's amazing how a little bump in the road can hurt a student's success. Mm-hmm. If you delay success, you eliminate success. And so what we're doing is we're building into our academic programs, all of our academic programs under the pilot, with just-in-time, individualized student services, so that when the little problems come up, and big problems come up, that there's somebody there to catch them. That one moment in time when they really need a bus ticket or they need $25 to pay the rent that month or something, that we step in and we give them that money. Because if we don't, we're going to have an underrepresented group in the community. So I think that we all know that students can fail or be challenged by numerous things. And we have to have an educational system that deals with that reality. We can't pretend that their problems aren't our problems. They are our problems. And we need to be part of the solution.
Jim, that's a powerful and important point. I think that the President cares about that deeply. And I'd like to throw it to Courtney, but turn it a little bit. As you said, you finished your program and you were looking for jobs, but you didn't actually have the skills that matched the jobs that were available. Right. How did the new graduate program help you with the placement? Because it's not just folks who are going through the program who have the need for just-in-time services. It's also for those students who've gone through the programs and need to find the opportunities.
Right. Well, as I said, I was, looking for work with all of my friends, and, unless I had previous experience at a hospital, which I didn't, they weren't really even looking at me and thinking twice. And I heard about the transition program through Saddleback, and I knew it was a newer program. And at first I thought, well, do I really want to go work for free more? I just got out of nursing school. Like, oh my goodness, I just want a job. And then I was like, well, what do I have to lose? I'm not, it had been 4 months already of constant weekly searching for a job and coming up with nothing. So I thought, might as well try and go for it. And the wonderful thing about the transition program is it allowed me to mark my interests, where I wanted to go, what field I wanted to go into, because labor and delivery was like my dream job, and it's actually quite unheard of to get that job right out of school because it's very specialized. And, got a phone call from the transition program, are you still interested? And I said, of course. They placed me, and, some of my family members were like, well, you're going to work for a hospital and they're just going to kind of use your labor. And I'm like, well, no, because I kind of thought of it like I have an opportunity to show them. I'm very confident in my skills, and I have an opportunity to show them, and they'll be happy to, to have me. So I kind of went into it thinking I'm going to give it my best. And 240 hours later, they told me they told me before that, but that was the program, 240 hours. And they told me, we love you. We're getting your paperwork together. So they actually took my hospital, Western Medical Center in Santa Ana, took every single transition student. So, which was like, I believe, 5 or 6 new grad nurses. And my director told me, she said, I actually like new grads because I can kind of meld you to be how I want you to be. But, they were so excited about this program. She's like, I never heard about this. I'm going to be doing it all the time now in all of the local hospitals, I hear. So it's just, it was a dream. It's a dream come true. I still can't believe it.
That is great. So I promised you that we would save time, adequate time for questions, comments, thoughts, recommendations. I think there are folks who have microphones that are going to be coming around. If anyone has a question, now is the time to raise it.
She's coming.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, coming from the East Coast, especially. Tim Jamal, I represent the Computing Technology Industry Association. We actually are the leading provider of vendor-neutral certifications in the IT industry, and healthcare IT is definitely one of the priority areas in part with a lot of community colleges across the country. So a couple of questions. One, I wonder if you could expand a little bit on in the President's budget. I know there were a couple of new programs that were proposed that related to new funds for community colleges or state and local entities. If you could comment on that in a little detail, and then the prognosis with Congress, which I'm sure is not good. And then any other comments related to what's going on in healthcare IT, both in California and then maybe with the state WIB specifically.
Sure, I'd be happy to take the first half of that. The President announced in his State of the Union address his vision of training millions of more workers for high-tech, high-skilled work. And last week he announced a new $8 billion community college to career fund to do just that, to carry out that vision. And it will create multiple opportunities to do the sorts of things that we've been talking about, making sure that community colleges are working hand in hand with employers and making sure that, a hospital doesn't hear for the first time when students are already on the job about these amazing resources available to employers. So that's part of what's going on. Just last week, the Department of Labor reissued a $500 million grant available to community colleges, again, to partner with employers, workforce investment boards, nonprofit organizations, making sure all of these stakeholders who have a role to play in making sure that high-skilled workers are getting the training that they need, and also bringing along the underprivileged populations to make sure that we are not leaving Americans behind, because when we do that, we all lose. We're all connected, and we have to make sure that everyone in our community is getting the skills and access to education that they need so that we can all succeed together. With respect to the IT,
I'll handle that one.
Let someone else handle
I'd be
that.
happy to handle the health IT question. I'm the project director for the Community College Consortium to Educate Information Technology Professionals in Healthcare, and try saying that fast about 10 times. The fiscal agent for that project is Los Rios Community College, and we cover a 4-state region that includes Arizona, Hawaii, and Nevada. And we're actually into the last year of the project. We're all looking at no-cost extensions. And the goal of that project has been to train both IT professionals and healthcare professionals in a variety of roles. At my college, Butte College, we have chosen to take that in a little different direction, as I mentioned earlier, and do the incumbent worker training for the critical access hospitals, in that these smaller hospitals really aren't able to hire new staff. Another part of that project that we're cooperating with UC Davis is to actually build modules of instruction to integrate into nursing programs, medical assisting programs, and computer science programs. So we're going a little bit different levels. How can we train our current, including our current workforce training, so that as they leave college, they're ready to work in this environment? So right now there's 10 community colleges in California working on the regular health IT project that will probably extend their stay. And you mentioned Orange Coast College is one of the colleges in the South as well. So that program will continue probably for another year with our no-cost extensions.
There's one other program that relates to your question, and that is the health IT technician. The people who need the 2-year preparation, the people who will help train those folks coming out of the shorter program, help with the conversion. And Saddleback is lucky enough to have been supported in developing a 2-year associate degree program that will permit these folks to have higher paying jobs, again, along that pipeline. And we have people from the HIT program. Want to kind of raise your hand? We have a lot of folks here. They're very interested. So we've certainly got people we're going to send to you, and
we're going to compete with you.
Absolutely.
Are there other questions?
Hello. My name's Annie, and I'm a student in a brand new student in the HIT program. And I'm a woman in my 50s, learning a new career. And I have the same needs as to provide for myself and my family as probably all of us do in this gathering. And my big concern is, and I spoke to one of my teachers about this, he said, don't be concerned. Is there an age bias when I start looking for a job? And I'm pointing to you, Maria. Would there be an age bias when I go searching for a job? It does concern me, and I'm a little bit nervous about it because, and I know you've just got a great job, and you mentioned that they didn't want to hire you because of your youth and inexperience. And I have experience in other fields and in life, and I just feel I would be a wonderful addition to any staff of any organization, and that was my concern. Could you address that?
I absolutely could. Thank you. It's a good question. It really is. We have seen many people come back into the education sector as a result of job loss or the need to go secure additional work to support their families. A lot of times these individuals have degrees in other fields, or it may be their first degree. We consider you a wisdom worker. The age, it's a number, but like you said, you come with a vast wealth of knowledge from life experiences and other positions in your career. Customer service is a skill set that is enormously important in healthcare. And so if you worked at a Macy's, you bring that to the table with your new education and skills in HIT. So is there an age bias? I'd have to say no. I really, truly do. I think it's about how you present yourself, about your portfolio, and the fact that you would be a wisdom worker. There's a lot to be said for the maturity that comes, as Courtney called them, the veteran staff. So no. So graduate and come see me when you're done.
There was another question over here.
She had one over.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi there. My name is Noel Lara. Actually, this is my second year here in college. I work for the United States Coast Guard as a rescue swimmer and also as a Chase Bank worker. My question is, what is the cause and effects with all the grants coming out, with all the money going out, and prices going up? Work is really hard to find nowadays. What is going to be the effects from all these grants? Because nowadays, a lot of people talking on the news saying loans are higher on the bank side because of students are not able to pay it off. What's your comment from that?
Well, I'll take the first crack, and then maybe some others on the panel can join in. Thank you, first off, for your service and for everything that you've done and are doing for the country. The President is very committed, as you all have heard, to those who have served and are serving. It's one of the signature initiatives for the President in his new budget was in the State of the Union, is a focus on those folks who've committed their lives to our country. I'd first say that school loans and student aid are a top priority. We know that we're not in a place where we can, as a country, continue to allow the debt burden on our middle class and those who are, as I said, are trying to reach the middle class to continue to grow. It's not sustainable either for the country or for the folks who live and work in the country. That's why the President launched a commitment to reduce the debt burden just this past December, I think it was, or maybe it was even January, to focus on making sure that students have adequate student aid going forward. So it's something that we spend a lot of time on. In fact, I wear two hats, and it's in the program. I also serve at the Treasury Department. And we are looking right now at ways that we can assist in lowering the costs for students and making sure that student debt doesn't increase. But it's something that we're working on a daily basis. I don't know that I could direct you to any particular program, but maybe Alicia.
Well, and additionally, the president is building into the grants that I talked about earlier, the $8 billion Community College to Career Fund. He is incentivizing colleges, and he's also talked about this with respect to four-year universities, making sure that they are incentivized to keep costs down, because we can't continue having families and students pay for higher and higher costs. And so the colleges that do a better job of keeping costs down, of making sure that their students are actually graduating into jobs, they're the ones who are going to end up getting the money. So that's part of the answer. It's a very complex issue. And
I'd just like to add a little bit to that, too. You've chosen well to come to a community college because you're going to have probably the lowest fees of any opportunity that you might have, and we're well aware of that. From the college standpoint, when we do get a grant, we use that often to expand a program for a short period of time, as long as we can, but we also try and use that to keep the cost of instruction down as well. So we're very conscious of how we use those grant dollars to really align the labor market. And this is a new initiative from the Chancellor's Office. They're asking us to be doing what's right for the economy, doing what's right for our programs, making room for what's right. So we're being asked to make sure that all of our programs align with the job, so that every program we have in the community college is going to be a job for you on the other end. So we're really taking an effort to align and do that more carefully, so that when you do leave your program, you can have a job that will help you deal with whatever loans you may have. And we've actually talked with this. Tim mentioned the Health Workforce Development Council, which I'm a member. We had some rousing discussion about some of the debt load that our students do incur when they choose other options in a public institution for their college degree. So thank you.
Go ahead.
I'd like to add to that as well. You know, a lot of employers also have implemented programs, such as forgivable loan program. So depending on what field you're going into, for example, in nursing, we offer our employees the opportunity to go back to school and advance their education. The associate degree in nursing is just the launching point on lifelong learning. According to the Robert Wood Johnson IOM report, we need to have 80% of our nurses at the baccalaureate level within the next few years. So we are providing forgivable loans, money available to the nursing staff in order for them to go back to school to get their education without incurring that debt load. And in exchange, then they have to work for us for a period of time after they receive their degree. So that's certainly something for you to consider. The one caution that I have that I'd like to get back to the President is that grants are wonderful and they do incredible work, but at the end of the day, they're not sustainable funds. Mm-hmm. And many programs I've seen in my lifetime doing this work, incredible programs, fall to the wayside because the school system and the industry does not have the infrastructure to sustain them. You know, with healthcare reform, there are a lot of constraints coming down on organizations. We have to contain our costs. And I fight for every dollar that we get to support students like you see in your audience here today, and our employees who are trying to advance their degrees to meet the needs of the workforce of the future. Because we need that workforce not to stop at a community college level. You must go back and advance your degree. It's critical in many of the fields in front of you. And I'm concerned that those dollars won't be there when we need them.
That's a great point. Oh, Tim?
I would like to just add very quickly, we didn't highlight our pilot project because we had the opportunity to show it in the flesh, but I did want to tell you, you brought up a very good point, which is accessibility and cost. And one of the things that our pilot project is doing is working to not only create some entry to the basic skills, to get rid of this foreign language that people wind up in. You know, medical terminology, the metric system are all so different. But one of the goals of the pilot project is to make it available and accessible at no cost online, so that those people, so we feel that's kind of an obligation, because it is true, the funds aren't sustainable. So what can we do with the short period of funds? And so one of our goals of our project will be not only to prepare these modules so that students can be prepared to enter allied health programs, but to make them available using the internet and other modalities so that they will be either at no or very low cost and accessible and generalizable across the country.
Tim, I want to make sure that we're almost out of time. I want to make sure that she gets the chance to ask the question.
Hi, I'm Cindy Greenberg. I'm the director of the School of Nursing at Cal State Fullerton. And MJ so eloquently just brought up one of my points. I was going to mention one of the noticeable gaps in this discussion, and at least I'm well known enough in the nursing community. I don't think I'm going to be run out of here. But MJ brought up that the associate degree is just the start, and research has demonstrated that a baccalaureate prepared nurse at the bedside increases. There's a balance between ADN and baccalaureate prepared nurses. And so across the state, the Cal States and the community colleges have been developing partnerships, dual enrollments, and we're in partnerships with 4 of our local community colleges, Saddleback being one of them, and we are starting a dual enrollment program so that students will go into their baccalaureate education before they graduate with their associate degree. And so also looking at support and funding for that, because it's a more cost-effective way for the students. And then also supporting what MJ also said earlier with nurse residencies. And physicians are paid, and there's CMS pass-through dollars and other sorts of funding, so that it would also be good to support nurse residencies to get the appropriately educated and prepared, experienced nurse going out to the bedside on their own.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
Okay. Tim will be the last word before we wrap things up.
I've timed that just right. And there was one more question out there. Diane Factor, I see you raise your hand.
Oh, we'll let Diane speak, right? Go ahead, Diane.
Hi, I'm Diane Factor. I'm with the Los Angeles Healthcare Workforce Development Program, and we represent hospitals and clinics who serve the safety net population, the underserved. And because of the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, we are thinking about transforming healthcare in very real terms. We're not only thinking about it, we're doing it, because we're kind of ground zero for uninsured. And those the innovation grants have sort of raised the bar, and we are not thinking about workforce development in traditional ways as succession planning or filling gaps, but how do we reach out and bring in all the uninsured and then do a better job of preventive medicine. So it's all about primary care. And as we are running these programs, we love the community colleges, but not all of the curriculum is aligned yet to the certified medical assistant, to the community health worker, to some of those jobs that will expand. And so I just want to applaud the community colleges, but say it's here now. The Affordable Care Act is our #1 priority. We thank the President for that vision. We need it in Los Angeles, but we've got to change the mix. And I believe that the new grad program is like the apprenticeship model in health, and that's where we should go.
Thanks, Diane.
Well, thank you very much for that. It's a very important point. It's something that the Jobs Council spent a lot of time looking at, and I have to say that Rich Trumka, AFL-CIO, has made it a point of reminding us every time we meet that we can't forget about the broad range of employees that we have, potential employees. So thank you for that point. I want to thank everyone. I'm sorry that we don't have more time for this discussion. I think it's been a great discussion. Would you all please give a round of applause to the panel? I think they did a great job. I also want to thank Saddleback for hosting us. We really appreciate your hospitality. This was a great session. I know that there are those who did not get the opportunity to ask questions or provide comments, either because we ran out of time or because they weren't able to make it here today. Feel free to go to the Jobs Council website at the whitehouse.gov website, www.whitehouse.gov. Just search Jobs Council. There's a link for you to have access to send us your feedback on this or anything else that you would like us to take to the President directly. I will be available afterwards. I know that Alicia, unfortunately, has to leave us, but we will be happy to take things back to Alicia and to Secretary Solis as well. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to find out more about the best practices, the models that are working here in California. We will certainly take back these ideas, these comments to the President and see if we can do something about them. So thank you all very much.